On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt will rank the 10 biggest Star Wars moments of 2025. Stay tuned to find out which ones made the list and which moment took the top spot. Of course, he'll end the show with Question of the Week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Fan Artist Features. Punch it, Chewie. Hey now, everybody!
Hello.
Hey now from the little one. All right, she was helping me kick off the show today. Welcome back to the Star Wars Time Show. It is the last show of 2025, so we had the my little Star Wars assistant here to help me kick off the program. How's it going, everybody? I can see we've got the usuals in the live stream chat, which makes me very happy, especially seeing good old Bango in there. We know what's going down if Bango is in a live stream chat. The dude is having his Friday on a Wednesday and probably drinking a bottle of red. All right, let's go. Look, I even got my festive Star Wars shirt on. I still got my lights set to where I look like powder. Check it out if you've never seen the movie, but I look just like him. I just happen to be wearing a hat that now seems to have like a sweat stain on it, so I might have to rotate out this SWT hat. Here we go. Who else is in here? Yep, League's in here. Matt's Padawan is up. That's right. Kramer's in here with a mini me. Bango with the mini Matt. Good to see you three. It always makes me happy when you guys are in here. So, all right. Well, I got all sorts of stuff to talk about today. Probably too much. I'll probably go longer than one man needs to go when he's holding down the Star Wars Time Show live. That is. I sometimes when I get started, I just run that diarrhea of the mouth. So, got to stay focused here. Focus, people. We're going to do our usual. We got Ask Us Anything. We got some good questions to cover. I got a little Christmas movie to review for you all. A new one. It's a remake of an old one, but it's a new one, and it's pretty good. And then we're going to close out the show with our main segment, which is the top 10 biggest Star Wars moments of 2025. So, it should be fun. It's been an interesting year of Star Wars if you really think about it. I mean, we had a few new shows come out, a few new shows ending. We had some Visions returned. We had video game announcements, movie trailers. So it's been a year. I usually like to do these and close them out with Nick, but as you all know, young Nick is a world traveler. He's going to be gallivanting around the entire galaxy, so we weren't going to do a show next week. And it makes sense, because who the hell wants to tune into the Star Wars Time Show on Christmas Eve? Not me, all right? Not me. So this is it. This is it for SWTS in 2025. We'll be back in the new year. Still don't know when we're going to do the rebrand, but it's on the docket. I haven't completely eliminated it, but we're not dealing with that. I'm going to shut down for the next few weeks. But we'll be back with SWTS sometime in 2026, more than likely early January after the New Year celebration. Yeah, I'm with Bango. It really is. And I know I'm the old person in the room at this point in time, but it just, ever since you leave high school, and I remember, I'll never forget this. He was a football coach, but he's also my calculus teacher, Ray Thomas. I never forget my senior year. He's like, listen, when you guys walk down those steps, your life is never going to be the same. He's like, it's just going to start going by in a flash. And of course, 17-year-old Matt's like, yeah, whatever, Coach Thomas. I'm invincible. I'm going to live forever. And here we are 45 years later. It feels like yesterday. And as Bango has pointed out, we're pretty much all the way done with this year already. And boy, has it been a year. Especially live over here in the States, but I'll leave it at that. I think you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I don't want to waste much more time because I know it's a little late to the draw today. we've got YouTube's new dual stream feature. So I'm actually technically putting out, I think, 3 streams at this point in time. We've got the standard, we've got the old vertical, and now we've got YouTube's new built-in vertical. So I have no clue what this is going to be doing. It definitely doesn't seem to be bringing in any new viewers, which is fine. Things have slowed down with us throughout this year with it because there's just not been a lot of Star Wars to talk about, and it's us. Let's be real. I mean, unless you stumble or trip into the Star Wars time show, it's almost impossible to find. But that's okay. I digress. We're not going to get in here and start doing this. I'm so sad. Oh man, that sucks, Bango. I see that. I'm not going to throw it up on the stream because I don't want to get deported, because that's kind of something we do these days over here. So, all right, let's do a little Ask Me Anything, okay? Let's ask it up. We do it every show, usually to kick things off, to kind of get in the spirit, to celebrate the fans, and, you know, it gives us some time to kill. Get involved. You just, hey, follow us on those socials. Instagram, Discord might be the best. Open link here in the description of the video. And by the way, while you're down there looking for that Discord link, don't forget to consider subscribing to the SWTS channel. Or if you're a real sycophant, you can become a channel member for as low as $1.99. Okay, let's go ahead and get a few screens switched up here. I never know which buttons are going to work. All right, so as usual, we have lagging buttons on the vertical stream, which is okay because no one's watching over there anyways. All right, let's get these questions up. Like I said, there's a good dose of them. We got some holiday themed stuff in there, so it's perfect to end out the season or this year of Ask Us Anything. All right. Let's here's the question here. I'm sorry that the live stream chat is they're getting into like a political discussion, so I gotta focus over here. So this one comes from Divided Skywalker. She might have 2 questions this week, but she's special. When do you put up your Christmas tree? Typically we try to do mid-December. We've been a bit behind. Well, I guess it's still kind of mid. But because of the kitchen renovation, which is done, we got the punch out next week, so thank God for that. But we try to get it up early December. We do a fake tree in our dining room that kind of is in our double window for people to see. But we always do a real tree for Santa Claus, okay? Definitely do the real tree for Santa Claus. So 1 real, 1 fake. And she's also asking, what do the cats think about it? They absolutely love the fake tree. I mean, as soon as it goes up, they start circling in it, and then Boy Cat will jump up there, get himself stuck, hang out, and have a good time. Real tree, they don't love it as much, but they definitely try to kill themselves by eating pine needles. So it's always a fun exercise here in House Haywood with the 2 COVID cats. And they are COVID cats. If you remember, they were dumped in my neighborhood and just showed up and kind of walked in the house. And the rest is history. Now they've got me locked in, and I'm a big sucker for them. So, love my little kitties. Kramer here asking, what are your cats' names? All right, good question, Kramer. Boy Cat, his name is Stripes, a.k.a. the lost Luke Skywalker, and girl cat is Leia. So the reason I call him lost Luke Skywalker is when we found him, my kid was still, I think, 3, maybe just turned 4. And the first cat we got, he was Stripes. But then when we got the other cat, she was Leia, and then she wanted to change Stripes to Luke. And we were like, no, his name is Stripes. Now he responds to it, so that's it. So it's Stripes and Leia. But just like Prince, Stripes was formerly known as Luke Skywalker. All right, next question in Ask Us Anything coming from Nova. If Disney were to make a new holiday special, which characters would you want in it, and what would their storylines be? I mean, honestly, maybe we did this already, and I'm stupid and forgot to delete it, but I think the Skeleton Crew cast would be perfect for a holiday special. I really do. It just makes so much sense. They're kids. They could get into the whole spirit of the holidays in the Star Wars galaxy. We already know that they celebrate Life Day. We saw that in Skeleton Crew Season 1. And I think it's ripe for a holiday special. And I guess you could kind of do the storyline around, another mystery on At-Atin, or maybe the New Republic comes in and talks about some myths or legends that these people have never heard about, because you remember when they were on At-Atin, they were essentially blanked out from the rest of the galaxy. So I'm sticking to my guns there, Nova. I think Skeleton Crew cast, do something fun that both honors their in-universe holidays while mirroring ours, and potentially the Whim, Neil, KB, and Fern learning even more new things, fantastical things about the galaxy that we love, that is so far, far away. Okay. Bango saying Bad Batch. Bad Batch for a holiday special. I mean, yeah, Bango, I guess in years they're young, but they're still adults. And then Omega, by the time the series officially wraps, I think she's a teen, so... we love you. Don't call yourself a moron. All right, here we go. EKU Rory. And I'm pretty sure he asked this specific question for some promo. If you know EKU Rory, this is my long time buddy. We're talking 30 plus years. And it was probably over a year ago or whatever. I showed off this plaque he made for me, laser engraved or whatever, of Luthen's excellent speech from Andor Season 1. And I showed off on the stream, and some people were interested, and he made connections, and I think did a little business. So when he is asking, what is your best Star Wars Christmas decoration, I know exactly what his angle is. All right? So I brought something for show and tell here. I mean, Rory, if you want, I could say the Merry Sithmas sign you made last year, although we still have never put it in the yard. It's been painted, but the lights have not been put on it. I don't know what the delay is. It's not my deal. It's my wife and my daughter. But I think this is what he wants me to say is my best Star Wars Christmas decoration. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Check this bad boy out. It is pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. My friend is a creative genius that utilizes the tools at his disposal quite well. But if you're not on the live stream, what you're seeing here is a Merry Sithmas, like circular sign, plaque, wall mount thing. It's got a sleigh. Vader's in the sleigh. He's got a tree there, and the sleigh is being pulled by an AT-AT. So this, EKU Rory, is my best Star Wars Christmas decoration, because I think that's what you want me to say. It might be the Death Star that goes on top of the tree and lights up and makes sounds, but now it's this, all right? So I'm expecting at least 10% commission. Thank you. All right. There we go. Look at that. Rory, I'll throw up the responses here if you're watching recorded. We got an oh shit from Bango. We got a that's awesome from Kramer. Look at that. We got a triple Vader golden trophy from League. Kramer outdid that by one. He's got a quadruple Vader golden trophy. And Bango coming in with his dad joke. You might say it slays. Very good, team. Very good there. All right, next question here, and hopefully I don't have to show and tell for this one. Hey, it's League. What are the aspirations for 2026? Hopes, dreams. Oh boy. If you want to take it from a personal level, I'm going to keep working on my mental health. It's been about 2 years now, and it really has been, I don't know if I could say life-saving, but it's been well needed, earned, deserved. So I'll keep working on that. I would like to cut down on the use of vape pens in particular, if not get rid of vape altogether. It's just make things a little too easy, sometimes a little too potent, and sometimes I just get a little sleepy. So I don't want to be walking around like an invalid on the weekends. in terms of hopes and dreams, like, let's go. I really hope the Mando and Grogu movie is fantastic. I really do. I mean, I hope it does well at the box office, which is going to motivate more Star Wars films to hopefully get greenlit. And dreams are just, you know, maybe the world can become slightly unfucked a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen in 26, but hey, she said dreams, so I'm putting it out there. Okay. All right. Next question here during Ask Us Anything. We got our boy Devin Doty, aka Super Scoundrel on the gram. How close do you think FOTOR, Fate of the Old Republic, will be to the OG KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic games canon? Well, Mr. Doty, I think it's going to be... I think it's definitely going to honor what comes before it, but from what I've learned about Fate of the Old Republic, which may or may not have made my list of top Star Wars moments of the year, but I think what it says was it's going to be taking place towards the end of what was considered the Old Republic era. So I don't think in terms of in-game timeline, in-game chronology, blah, 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 habaloo-badoo. I don't think in-game Fate is going to be, you know, a year or two after Knights of the Old Republic. I think it could be a significant time past, and it should almost be leading up to what I would think would be the High Republic era, right? I mean, if we're talking old Republic, like true Old Republic, then the High Republic starts. So I think it's going to be closer to High Republic than what we saw in KOTOR. You have received the knowledge. All right. This is Bango. Sorry, I cut off Bango's name here, but now that I'm reading it, I know exactly who this is. So here you go, Bango. And you could have asked your FMK. It's fine. I've answered ones that, you know, I've had to sleep with men or do things like that. But here he goes. Here's one. Not original. What 3 people no longer living would you want to have dinner or drinks with? Assume everyone can speak modern English. Now, this is a great question. Okay, let me think about this. I really don't ever pre-read these questions outside of when I'm copying to load into Slack. But I'd say right off the top of my head, and this might sound weird to some of you, especially if you're a longtime fan. You've probably picked up my take on organized religion and religion in general. But I would most definitely want to talk to Jesus. And there's reasons I'd want to talk to him. I'd want him to reflect on what has become of his name and his story and what he thinks of humanity in 2025 and how he and his father's name are constantly used by large groups of people to commit heinous things upon other large groups of people. So Jesus 100% would be one of them. Just like I just would like to talk to the kid. Because, yeah, he was a kid. He died at 33. I just really want him to reflect on what happened after his death in the real world. So that's one. I think the other would probably be, I don't know, like one of these geniuses, and we gotta, I think I just have to go to Einstein, Albert Einstein. I just want to chat with someone that has a mind like his. I mean, some of the things he came up with, I know some things they've had to build upon or have discounted, but he's still the guy that essentially opened Pandora's box to just relativity, E equals MC squared, and all the stuff that kind of sprung out of that. I know the nuclear bombs are parts of it, but still, I mean, how impressive of a human was Einstein? So I'd love to talk to him. So we got Jesus and Einstein. Who else would I want to talk to that is dead? Man, this is tough to think about. While I think, I'll go ahead and bring this up from League is asking in the live stream chat. And if you want to join when we do the show, it's Wednesday, 6 p. East, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. But League saying, do you think Jesus would believe you when you explain what has become of his name? Well, League, if he's truly magical, he would have seen it. But yeah, if we're playing like Jesus was just a man and he passed, yeah, I think he would. I would take him around. Like in this scenario, they would be able to see what's going on in 2025, at least in my head. I don't know, Bango, if that follows the rules, but that's kind of what I think Jesus would be able to see what is happening, or I would at least show him. So who would be the last person living that or someone that's gone? You know what? And hopefully this makes sense. I would want to talk to the very first of my ancestors. The original Haywood, if that was even where Haywood's derived from. I want to talk to, even if it's a fucking caveman, I want to talk to the first ever Matt Haywood. Okay? And because I'm sure that was his name. Like if he was a caveman, he was probably like Hahu would have been his name, but that's who I want to talk to. So my original ancestor, as far back as we can go, Albert Einstein and Jesus Herbert Christ. All right. Good stuff there, Bango. That was a fun one. Made me think. And that sometimes is half the battle. All right, here's Kramer, so you know he's going to get me some football questions here. Thoughts on the Sharon Moore situation at Michigan, and did Ohio State sign anyone good during National Signing Day? All right, so we'll start there. I think the Sharon Moore stuff at Michigan just goes to show you that their whole Michigan man, they're above other big schools. They're not like Ohio State. They're not like an Alabama or USC. They're just better than everyone. I'm a Michigan man. You know, that type of bullshit, that mantra hopefully is completely shattered at this point in time. Because over the past 10 to 15 years under this Ward Manual and then Jim Harbaugh and the poison on his coaching tree, like we're talking multiple offenders. We're talking cheaters, both in the game and in real life, unhinged people with potential, child pornography. I mean, Michigan is a dumpster fire. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm an Ohio State grad, and I think the way they've handled the complaints from the wrestlers and the gymnasts from many, many decades ago is also atrocious. But this is in the here and now. In Michigan, in terms of what's going on in the football program and in their athletics, is just it's trash. I mean, they should have been penalized for their cheating. They only got some $35 million fine. I mean, they're just, listen, they're no good. So I'll keep it. I'll end it here. But the whole honorable Michigan man bullshit, the Adam Schefters of the world, they can all go fuck themselves. All right, you guys have no honor. You Michigan men are no different than any other fucking fan base or big time school, big time program. Okay. In fact, recently you're pretty freaking terrible and dishonorable. All right. Ohio State, yes, they signed Chris Henry Jr., which I believe was the number 4 overall player. And it looks like Legend Bay has already petitioned to leave Tennessee and actually go to Ohio State, where he wanted to before his mom would not sign his letter of intent. So Ohio State still doing great. Hoping for a good playoff run. A little bit worried. I kind of wish they were not the number 2 seed. All right, thoughts on the Dolphin game? Hey, and this is going to sound weird, but I was kind of disappointed the Steelers looked competent and got another win, a strong win against a bad team. But it's going to keep the mantra alive that Mike Tomlin can always get the job done with the pieces he has, and another winning season, maybe a playoff run, maybe even a home playoff game for the first time in years. So whatever, I would have rather have a home loss, but we don't always get what we want. You know what I mean? All right, and last one. I was wondering if we could have a voice chat party on my birthday. Kramer's really trying hard on that. I think that's the 21st, which is a Sunday. So it depends if I'm skiing or not, Kramer. But I'll try to maybe come in and at least say hello. It's probably not going to be a long chat, but maybe just a little hello. We'll see. But Sunday, it could be difficult, so don't get mad at me if it might move into next week. Next question here, another one for Divided, and the last one here. She's asking, what was your favorite non-Star Wars media that you enjoyed in 2025? Man, I still think when I go back to it, I still look at Sinners as one of the best movies I've seen this year. Life of Chuck was another one I really appreciated. And there's one just recently I saw that was like, damn, that was a really good movie. And I wish I could remember what that was. So I would say those films for sure. Alien, Earth definitely has to go on this favorite non-Star Wars media list. Book, hell, just getting back into reading and finally tackling Asimov's Foundation franchise or series. I still haven't finished. I think I'm on book 6. But that's been nice. So Asimov's classic sci-fi. And games, I really have not played many games at all this year, but the one I'm currently playing and still like coming back to every weekend is Ghosts of Yotei on PS5. So there we go. All right, here we go. Kramer's thrown up Alien, Earth, Peacemaker, and the Terminal List Dark Wolf for him. And then Warhammer for gaming. So, all right, thanks for playing along. So that does it for Ask Us Anything. Like I said, people, when we're back, just keep your eyes on our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, as well as Discord. So just look for the prompt, ask the question, and it's going to get answered at some point in time. Okay, so let's shift things over. I got a little bit of a movie review I'd like to get into. Did check out a new holiday flick last Thursday. And it was a bit of a surprise. I didn't know much about this movie here, this Silent Night, Deadly Night. But apparently this movie's been done many times before. I think this is the 3rd remake of it. I believe the originals were back in the 80s. So, it was a Thursday. I pay for my AMC A-list shit. I get 4 movies a week. I feel like I got to see at least one a week to justify the expense. So I saw Silent Night, Deadly Night. I was like, hey, why not? Why not check out a Christmas slasher? There's been a few slashers the past couple years, starting back with David Harbour's movie, which I think was Silent Night. And then, damn it, what's his name? Joel something. Joel Kinnaman, he had one last year. So I was like, yeah, might as well go see another Christmas slasher. So Silent Night, Deadly Night. And quite frankly, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, there's definitely some, I'd say the lead female actress is not the best. But overall, I dug it. I mean, it's super practical in terms of the visuals. It's freaky. There's some supernatural stuff tied in there. There's some good gore, good kills, and I don't know. It's a little surprising too, because there is a bit of a twist where you learn why this guy feels the need to kill people during the Christmas Advent calendar. So I highly recommend this. I mean, it's a good new holiday slasher, dark type of film. If you're into that over the holidays, kind of like a Krampus, things like that. So I recommend Silent Night, Deadly Night to go check out in the theaters. And we're gonna have some time off here. I know Avatar 3's coming in this week, but this is a non 3-hour movie slog if you don't feel like sitting through Avatar. So definitely recommend Silent Night, Deadly Night. All right, friends, here we go. It is time to reflect on all things Star Wars 2025. It's been a year. I mean, I know it's been a struggle at times, especially for content creators like myself. You have a channel called Star Wars Time. You do the Star Wars Time show, and there's been a lack of stuff to talk about. I mean, we had Skeleton Crew to kind of open up the year. We had Andor there in May, and then that was it. I mean, yeah, you had Visions in October, but as we realized from our streams from that, no one gives a shit. So it's been a bit of a struggle year in terms of coming up with content and every week trying to bring you all some sort of Star Wars themed segment. Hell, at one point in time, we took a break for 2 months to do Alien Earth, but we still would always bring it back to Star Wars. So it's been a bit of a different year, really. I mean, if you think about it. So I came up with 10 moments that to me really kind of epitomize the best parts of Star Wars in 2025. Okay, so we'll be counting them down from 10 to 1. Actually, we're going to be starting with an honorable mention, then we'll get to 10 through 1. All right, here we go, my friends. So starting off with the honorable mention, you're saying, Matt, are you showing us a crowd of Asian Star Wars fans? Well, quite frankly, the honorable mention of 2025 Star Wars moments goes to the community. I think the fandom in general hasn't been as shitty this year. Maybe it's me. Maybe I've stopped consuming certain social media platforms. I don't know, but it just seemed both with the end of Skeleton Crew, Andor Season 2, Visions, that there was a lot less vitriol and hate being spewed on those channels, theory, from week to week. I didn't feel like there was a lot of videos being put out like Disney's canceled this year, or Star Wars needs rebooted, or the sequel trilogy being retconned, Kathleen Kennedy being executed. I don't know. Again, maybe I've just had my head in the sand in 2025, but it does feel like this year the Star Wars fan community has been less toxic, less garbage fueled, just less shitty. So I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing it out there as an honorable mention. Kudos to the community, at least the sane ones out there, the non-grifters, the Star Wars time showers, if you will. You know, we're not just shills. We can critique Star Wars, but we do it in a way that does not go sideways in terms of either getting racist or misogynistic or, that type of crap. So kudos to you, community. You made the list as an honorable mention. Okay, so now it's time for the list to begin. Coming in at number 10. The canceled Ben Solo movie. And you're probably going, Matt, that's kind of mean. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that was a top moment? Well, hear me out. First and foremost, it was a top moment because we actually got real Star Wars rumor news, which we have not really had since, maybe season 3 of The Mandalorian, or maybe Ahsoka, or maybe Rise of the Skywalker. Just like that kind of used to be our trade craft over here. Is every week we'd process Star Wars news, rumors, and leaks and kind of give our take and speculate and then pat ourselves on the back when we were right and not mention when we were wrong. And a lot of that has died. And so just even getting not even a rumor, because we got it right from Adam Driver's mouth and Soderbergh's mouth that they were working on a Hunt for Ben Solo film that was greenlit by Lucasfilm. Scripts were written, and for the first time ever, I guess this is another reason why it makes the list, Disney shot it down. Remember, this is the first time that Lucasfilm greenlit a project, said, yes, let's do it, but then Disney shot it down. So that was news in and of itself. I think it might have showed people for the first time that maybe it's not Lucasfilm, maybe it's not Kathleen Kennedy making some of these decisions to not, keep the Acolyte around or do Skeleton Crew Season 2. Maybe it is the fucking money guys. Maybe it is the CEOs that are overpaid. Maybe it is the Bob Igers of the world that have a heavy hand in what Star Wars stories are being told. So that's why I consider this to be a top moment, even though to some of you, I think it was a negative to learn that this movie got canceled. I still don't think Driver and Soderbergh had a great idea. I would have rather seen prequel Ben Solo stuff, but hey, either way, a pitch was made, it was greenlit, got all the way to Disney, and then Disney said no thanks. So that was a big reveal for Star Wars in 2025, and definitely worthy of making my top 10 Star Wars moments of the year. Okay, yeah, Bango is realizing when he hears people talk stupid about Star Wars that they're probably getting fed through the negative Star Wars algorithm, which again is why we're not popular. I've decided you either have to be like overly positive and like borderline cheesy to be a popular Star Wars YouTuber, or you have to go full negative. And you know what? While I'm thinking about it, and I wasn't going to get into this, but I got to speak my mind. But I've about had it up to here with the virtue signaling I've seen on Instagram these past few weeks after Disney announced their partnership with OpenAI. I mean, listen, I think what AI did with artists' work and how they trained it is terrible. But hey, it's here to stay. It's going to happen. But seeing a lot of these content creators get on Instagram like, you know, fuck AI, fuck machines. I'm going to learn how to draw and then posting it every day. It's just like, okay, enough's enough. All right. We appreciate your opinion, but do you need the virtue signaling it every single day? Because I want to go to these people like, hey, if you hate machines so much, if you hate AI so much, hey there, buddy. If you hate what algorithms are, which are essentially the brain of artificial intelligence, then why are you using these platforms still? If you hate Disney's move with OpenAI, why are you still posting Star Wars content and trying to promote Star Wars content? You know, why use Instagram? They're owned by Meta. Meta also puts out AI. Why do you use Photoshop to work on your human art? You know, that's not all human made. When you go into Photoshop and you wipe a wire, you create a lightsaber with outer glow. Is that human made? No, you're using a machine. So I'm not some AI shill. Like, I get it. AI, especially in the arts, like I don't love AI art, but I will use AI to help me create assets for this show because I'm not an artist. I don't want to be an artist, but I'm going to use the tool. Just like everyone used a calculator. Just like everyone used a thesaurus or a dictionary way back when. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to call out any names, but it's just like, it's getting over the top, I think, this whole anti-AI. Like, really think about what you're saying when you're swearing off AI and machines in general. Because it better all be pencil and paper and never use digital shit again if you hate machines that much. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I had to get that I had to get that off my chest. I know it's probably not popular, and if anyone catches wind of it, I'll probably have even less allies in the community but it doesn't matter. They've all blown me by anyways. Don't really play with me anymore. So fuck it. Like, I can't take it anymore. It's getting to the point where I'm ready to start unfollowing accounts. Okay, sorry. Okay. Let's get back to the list. All right, so that was number 10. Let's go to our number 9. Number 9, I mean, listen, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, okay? I'll be the first one to admit that. Just like I know AI art is not everyone's cup of tea. And again, I would never create AI art and pass it off like, hey, look what I made. I use it for assets and stuff. I get that side of the argument, but going on this soapbox rant, it's like, come on. Anyways, number 9 here, Visions Volume 3. I know not everyone loved it or even cared about it, but I really think it was a great Star Wars moment of 2025. We got sequels, which I think really helps elevate it and justify it as making this top 10. It wasn't just all brand new shorts. We actually got sequels to The Duel. We got sequels to The Ninth Jedi. So we actually have world building going on within this Visions universe. Not to mention, a lot of the new shorts were also very excellent and definitely warrant sequels of some kind. And then you had shorts like Black where you just go, wow, that's some art. Like, that is art to me. And guess what? They probably use machines to make that. So shame on them. But anyways, I digress. I think Visions Volume 3 was just fantastic for what it's meant to be, a kind of an alt take on Star Wars from a culture that excels in a very particular looking form of art and style of storytelling. And I really thought it was some great Star Wars content, even if it does not appeal to the masses. But it just had some great episodes in there. I mean, Song of the Four Wings, Bounty Hunters, Bird of Paradise. Just, you can tell these creators, these anime, these manga people, that they understand the core essence of Star Wars and the conflict that, you know, George always put forth of light and dark and the inner struggle between those two emotions. So I really enjoyed Visions Volume 3 this year. So it comes in at number 9 on my list. Okay, number 8 is The Ninth Jedi. Or really, it's the reveal at Star Wars Celebration that The Ninth Jedi was becoming a standalone series. And why I think this makes the list at number 8 is it's showing that Lucasfilm, Star Wars, and storytelling in general is leaning into, or at least embracing, incubating some of these ideas that are being put forth by non-traditional Star Wars creators. So the fact that The Ninth Jedi started way back in Visions Volume 1, took a break in Volume 2, but then came back in Volume 3, and it came back with a vengeance, because we got at Celebration Japan an actual reveal that The Ninth Jedi is getting a standalone series in 2026. And The Ninth Jedi, really, it was the best thing of Visions 1. It was top 3 in Visions 3. Cara is a great character. The world created in The Ninth Jedi is definitely one that feels lived in. It feels earned, and it warrants follow up. You know, I want to learn more about Cara and her father and this group that's against him, and how, you know, Jedi were almost all wiped out, or they didn't know how to make swords anymore. It's just a very interesting universe. So I love that this was revealed this year. That's why it's on the list. But hopefully it lays the groundwork for additional follow-ups, be it in the Visions universe or just something else. You know, maybe more Maul Shadow Lord, or, you know, another animated series that fans would love. So I do appreciate that we're getting more Ninth Jedi, and it's going to be standalone. Bango, I would say it's traditional anime, but it's not like that crazy over the top where their eyes always look like they're crying and they talk like you'll dig it. I know you're not a Visions person, but maybe do a little homework. Watch the first Ninth Jedi in Visions Volume 1, and then watch the follow-up in Visions Volume 3, and then decide if it warrants you spending your time next year to watch the standalone series. So it is worth checking out, the Ninth Jedi in particular. I remember when I watched it in Volume 1, I was telling Nick, is like, dude, this could be a thing. Like, it already feels as it's a trilogy. Okay? All right. Bango is checking it out. I appreciate you following up on your homework. My man. All right. Coming in at number 7. And again, this is probably going to surprise some of you diehards, because you know who I am. You know what I think about the prequels. And you really know my true feelings about Revenge of the Sith. But I have to say, the 20th anniversary re-release in theaters makes this list, and it makes it at number 7. I mean, it's still packed theaters 20 years later. You know, I mean, it was selling out during the short weekend it was offered. I went to go see it with my buddy EKU Rory and his kid and my kid, so it was nice to kind of take him to something that he and I would have saw in our 20s towards the end of college. And listen, I'm tired of being that angry prequel guy. It's not worth it anymore. The prequel generation, they're kind of the prime generation right now. They're the ones in their, late 20s, 30s that grew up with this thing and love it just as much as I love the OT. But I don't know. I appreciated going back and seeing one of George's OGs in the theater again. Because when it comes down to it, Star Wars movies are always best viewed in a movie theater. I don't care what type of setup you have at home. George always crafted these things to be played in a massive theater on a big ass screen with killer sound systems. So going to check this out again, the big screen, and I think Dolby Atmos, it was great. Listen, I still don't love the movie. I still think it's got all sorts of issues. The biggest being Anakin's unearned fall to the dark side. But I definitely do not give myself a stroke over this film anymore, thinking about it and getting angry. It is what it is. It's been bolstered through the supplementation of the Clone Wars, so that's nice. But I do think just the 20th anniversary celebration of ROTS earns a spot on the top 10 moments of 2025. Star Wars moments, that is. Look at Bango realizing how old I am. Yeah, dude, I was actually working my career when Revenge of the Sith came out, because it came out in 2005. So I had been working with the Kroger company for just about 2 years when it dropped. So yeah, I'm an old man. I am an old dude, 45. Boy, I don't like it, but here we are. Okay, so that was number 7. What could come in at number 6 on Matt's top 10 Star Wars moments of 2025? Well, let's just see what it is. There they are. There they are, my friends, the Skeleton Crew. And before I get into this, I gotta tell a little story here. Out of the blue this week, I get a DM from Ravi Kabot-Conyers, who played Wim, the lead character in Skeleton Crew. And if you remember, he did an interview with me and Nick as Skeleton Crew was winding down at the beginning of 2025. So for that reason alone, and talking to Marty Matulis right after the finale of Skeleton Crew and its final episodes come in at number 6 on my list. I just think this show was fantastic from start to finish. I know expectations were kind of low, but I think they blew everyone away, me in particular. I think the cast was fantastic. The new characters that the cast played were fantastic. The story was great. It was a mystery. It was just a blast. For the first time in a while, it was fun to come on and do the show and talk about the moments and speculate what's going to happen next. What's going on with At-Atin and these jewel planets of the Old Republic? Why are they hidden? Who is the magistrate or whatever it was called, the mayor? I forget what they're calling the thing on At-Atin. Jude Law's turn as Jadna in the Wood. Just the dark turn that Jadna took. I don't think anyone saw that coming, basically threatening kids, trying to take over their planet in steel form. It was a great franchise. I mean, Skeleton Crew is a shining beacon in Disney's years as being the curators of Star Wars content. So I absolutely appreciate this series. I really wish by now we had heard that, hey, we're getting a season 2, because I just think it's ripe for more storytelling. These kids love what they did. They were fantastic. They're getting older, so we know the team behind this, John Watts, he has a plan if they do get greenlit for season 2 to account for his cast aging in real life. But it was just great. And here, getting a DM from Ravi now almost a year later and him just saying, hey, man, how you doing? It was funny. He's like, hey, my mom has let me, reach out sometimes. You remember, he's still a young kid. And he's like, we were just rewatching the interview, and I just wanted to let you know just how much fun that was. And it touched me. Like, I love this kid, and hopefully he'll remain in my orbit for the rest of the time. I'm going to follow his career with great interest. But also to kind of wrap up why Skeleton Crew is a top moment, and we had Marty Matulis on, like I said. He played Vane the Pirate. He was great too. He was those were probably my 2 favorite Star Wars time show moments of the year, and they happened like back to back. So We shot our wad early here at SWTS in 2025, but it's due to great programming like Skeleton Crew. So that is definitely my sixth moment, was the closeout of Skeleton Crew and getting to interview some of the cast members right here on our dumb little show. All right, so now we're about to break into the top 5. This is the big stuff, everything you've been waiting for. What has Matt put into his top 5, and are they stupid choices? Well, I guess we'll just have to find out. So, coming in here, yeah, thanks, Bango. Bango let me know that I did a good job with Ravi. The fact that he, wanted to come back and actually just explain to me that he had a really great time. And you're not wrong. Listen, I don't like toot my own horn, but I think sometimes I don't realize what other people think of me, both doing this show and my real work as a college professor. We had to meet in the department today because my dean's retiring, and I've worked with this lady for 16 years. I have a genuine love for her. And I saw some colleagues I haven't seen in person in a while because, once COVID happened, we all kind of started working from home, not in the office. So we don't really see each other in person. And just to have the amount of people come up to me and be like, hey, man, it's good to see you. And I wish you were becoming the chair of the department. It made me realize I'm not just some big piece of shit scumbag loser. And that's something I struggle with and why I'm in therapy. So thank you, Bango. Like I said, this motherfucker always needs his bucket filled up. So if you ever have anything nice to say, please don't hold back because it goes a long way for someone like me. All right, let's go ahead. Enough about my dumb ass. Number 5 is the reveal that Darth Maul, or Maul, is getting his own animated series kicking off in 2026 called Maul Shadow Lord. You know what I mean? So this is great. I know we barely have even seen any footage. We've got a few, production stills or animation stills. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a series about Maul picking up after the Clone Wars, where he escaped Ahsoka and Rex and got away, and then he starts reworking on his criminal underground empire with Crimson Dawn. So I love prequel type of stuff when it can help flesh in parts of a character or universe that we've heard about but have not witnessed. And I think the timeline for this Shadow Lord series is fantastic because it should fill in the gaps after Clone Wars up to Kenobi, up to the Solo movie where we saw him leading Crimson Dawn and making Kira his lieutenant, all the way up to Rebels when he's gone more or less batshit crazy, still thinking about getting revenge on Kenobi. When he teams up with the Rebels, Ezra in particular, when he's got the Sith holocron. So I do want to see Maul build up this empire, rise to the top of Crimson Dawn, have people fear him. What was he doing to kind of collate all that power we just assumed he had by the time we saw him show up again in Solo at the end there. And it's Maul, it's Witwer voicing Maul. There's no way Maul Shadow Lord is going to suck. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm not sure if it's going to be a limited series or a multi-series or season run. Either way, when this guy is your lead character, the titular character, as they like to say, nothing can go wrong, right? Nothing can go wrong. Darth Maul, to me, over the years, has just rocketed up my top Star Wars characters list. If we're talking bad guys, he's coming in there right after Vader. I mean, Vader, Malgus. It's probably Vader, Maul, Malgus. Maybe I even like Balin's Skull. He's kind of a bad guy. Throw him in there. But I love Maul. So give it to me. Give me all the Maul we can handle. Maul Shadow Lord, definitely looking forward to its debut in 2026. And there's a good chance if we're still doing this dumbass show next year, or if it's another name, we're probably going to talk about Maul Shadow Lord as being a top moment of 2026. Bango's saying they need to decide a set number of seasons, greenlight them all, and write a complete story arc. It'd be nice if that's how TV worked. It feels like it used to work that way until the show started to suck, and then they might just cancel it abruptly. But they used to be like, hey, you get this many seasons to figure something out, and depending on numbers, maybe we'll keep going. It'd be nice to get back to that, because I think there's far too many shows these days, especially on the streaming platforms, that just get axed. They have no room to breathe, to grow. I mean, I think we could argue The Acolyte is probably one of these. There's plenty of shows on Netflix that fall into that category of one and done, and why? So that's why everyone should be a little concerned about all this monopolization of media in America. Not only the people buying it, but even if Netflix gets, what is it, HBO or WB, that's not great either. I don't think Netflix and Ted Sarandos are as inherently evil as the Allisons, but Ted also hates movie theaters, and I love movie theaters, and he'll just keep working trying to kill theaters if he has all the content. So hopefully Maul does get multiple seasons, because it'd be nice to let the creatives actually tell a whole story. I'd still like to see what Leslie had left to tell for Kamir and other Acolyte characters, but ain't gonna happen. So here we are. All right, so that was number 5. Let's see what comes in at number 4 on my list of top Star Wars moments of 2025. It's Ryan Gosling's sexy ass face. No, I'm just kidding. It was the official confirmation at Celebration Japan that Shawn Levy and Ryan Gosling are working on a Star Wars project, and it's called Star Wars Starfighter. All right. It was just great to get confirmation, and even better because, yes, they've announced Star Wars projects at celebrations in the past, and they've gone nowhere. Looking at you, Rey movie. Looking at you, Dawn of the Jedi. Looking at you, Dave Filoni, super crossover Avengers Endgame film. But Starfighter is different. Not only was it officially announced at Celebration Japan, but in 2025, it started fucking production. Like, there is actual film of this movie shot. It's in the can. In fact, it was 3 weeks ago, we were talking about some news about this film and how it's going to, it's not beholden to any legends, this, that, or the other thing. But Shawn was saying they're almost halfway done filming. So this is a real deal project. We are going to see it in 2027. And the people involved, Shawn Levy, Mia Goth, Ryan Gosling, damn it, I always forget his name, but he was just on a program showing off his Star Wars haircut. Is it Matt Smith? Is that his name? Who the hell is that guy? He's in House of the Dragon. He's a fantastic actor. Why do I forget his name every time? Is it Matt Smith? Is anyone there in the live stream chat to help me out here? Let me see. I got to figure this out. Let me see if we can. Matt Smith. Yeah, Matt Smith. See, I'm not that stupid. Matt Smith's Starfighter haircut. Let's pull this shit up here. Now, here we go. Here we go. All right. Let me see if I can copy that link address and bring it over to the stream here. Oh, damn it. It's a Facebook link. That was stupid. Oh, there you go. If you're on the stream, you can see, hopefully you can see Matt Smith's Star Wars character's haircut. If that makes sense. He obviously didn't reveal anything. But he did say that this haircut you can see if you're on the stream, and it looks like a Star Wars haircut, is from his Starfighter role, and he has completed filming. So like I said, this project, it's not just pie in the sky bullshit. It's happening. Like they've paid people, so this thing is gonna be coming out unless it gets WB'd like Batgirl, and they film the whole thing, get it ready to debut, and then they cancel it for tax write-offs. But I am intrigued by Starfighter. We've got nothing but positive updates throughout this year, so that's why it made my top 10 Star Wars moments of 2025. Plus, I'm not gay here, but listen, Gosling, he's a good looking dude. He's a good actor. I can't wait to see what he does in Star Wars. I think he is going to be great. There you go. Bango. I'm telling you, man, someone got a hold of your book and they're just repurposing the stories for The Mandalorian and now Starfighter. So you better get that shit published and get it locked down. Let's get some copyright on that biatch. All right, so here we go. Now we are moving into my top 3. So these are the heavy hitters, if you will. So coming in at number 3, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And you're saying, hey, dude, what about it? We've known about this for a few years. It's been a real thing for a few years. Well, here, let me clarify for you. Yes, we've known about The Mandalorian and Grogu, but unless you've been at celebrations or D23 exhibitions, you have not been able to see anything from this movie. Maybe a leaked sizzle reel from someone's phone with shitty quality and you can't hear any sound. So, Mandalorian Grogu's coming in at number 3 because we got an official movie poster, and it's kind of old school, like vintage 50s, 60s type of Saturday matinee thing. We already have the cardboard cutouts at your local movie theaters. I know at AMC they got a big-ass cutout of this poster. But the reason it made the list and is coming in at number 3, it's an established franchise that fans absolutely loved. I mean, The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, fans went nuts for, thought it was fantastic. Season 3, I still think it was very strong, but some fans kind of turned their eye away from Din and Grogu. But they're great. They're stalwarts of the Disney era of Star Wars curation. But we got a trailer, like a real deal trailer released. You can see it in movie theaters. You got to see it on YouTube, whatever. So this makes the list. A, my love of Mando and Grogu. B, my hope that this movie is fucking awesome. And C, we actually got some actual content to check out and speculate on. And you know how much I love to pull shit out of my wazoo about Star Wars. So, yeah, I mean, Bango's in here. He's swearing to the maker, like, please don't fuck it up. He's going to steal Millennium Falcons if they do. And I agree. Because a lot's riding on this movie. You got to understand, it's the first Star Wars movie to hit theaters in, over 7 years by the time it comes out. It's the first time we're going to return to the Mandoverse in, I think, 2.5, 3 years. And let's be honest, Din Djarin and Grogu, they are the face of Disney Star Wars. I mean, they were the ones carrying the torch. They're the ones that lit Disney Plus on fire and got all those subs initially. A lot of plans were hinged on Din and Grogu and establishing an MCU type of universe with Star Wars TV. Now, that all has subsequently blown up. You like how that one just like kind of slipped down my mouth there. It's, those plans have kind of gone to shit. So a lot hinges on Mando and Grogu. So it is very important. And that's why I have it ranked so high on this year's list of Star Wars moments. So let's hope for the best. I do have faith it's going to be a quality flick. Favreau has told us it should help us lead into Ahsoka Season 2. So that's good news too. If he's saying that, like you have to think there's going to be some Thrawn stuff in the Mando and Grogu movie. If just mentions of them, that'll be fine. But if this is the next story in the Mandoverse to help set up Ahsoka Season 2 and then hopefully eventually the crossover film that Dave was given at the same time as the Rey movie and the Dawn of the Jedi, it could be some great things coming down the pipe. Okay. League saying, are you concerned that Mando is really Season 4? Well, League, if we're going to believe Jon Favreau, he said that he has Season 4 written and it's on his desk. So this is not Season 4. He actually explained like how the way he writes for TV is different than writing for a movie, because TV, you kind of got more time to develop. You can go deeper into some shit, where movie, you kind of have to set things up, hit the middle of it, hit the climax, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I don't think this is really going to be what they intended for Season 4 of the Mandalorian TV series. I think this is more to get Star Wars back into the theaters, to maybe prove to Bob and the money providers at Disney, like, hey, you know, this stuff's still worth investing in. Please let us keep making shit. So that's why a lot hinges on it, though. If this duds out, and sadly, I mean, it's going to have to make $750 million for it not to be considered a dud. I mean, I think 750 would be the low number here. Most Star Wars that people consider successful, it gets close to $1 billion. So it's got to do well to kind of keep future projects humming here. Yeah, I think so, League. I think we should look at Mando and Grogu as Mando season 3.5. Yeah, I think that's a fair way to describe it. All right, here we go. Number 2 is bam, and this is all recent, like as in a last week recent. And my number 2 moment is the reveal of 2 new Star Wars video games, and one is actually probably going to get made and see the light of day. So I'm talking about last week's reveal from the Game Awards. Sorry. Oh boy, I've been sucking in a lot of air. Anyways, at the Game Awards last week, and apparently Expedition 33 won Gotti, so I got to check that out. I've heard it's pretty cool. One of these days I'll play it. But anyways, we got 2 big, and to me, they were completely surprising reveals. It wasn't even remotely on my radar that we were going to get 2, let alone 1 new Star Wars game announcement at the Game Awards. The first one was massive. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. If you remember from Ask Us Anything, Devin was asking me a question about that and how close it might be to KOTOR in terms of, you know, canon timeline. But the fact that they're returning to the Old Republic and it's Casey Hudson, that's the reason to get excited about Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. It's not that it's set during the Old Republic or that it's going to be a brand new Star Wars action RPG in the vein of KOTOR. It's the fact that Casey Hudson, the motherfucker game director of KOTOR, of Mass Effect. I mean, Casey Hudson did the original Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, this guy is a game directing god if you like sci-fi fantasy type of games. So that more so than the fact that Fate of the Old Republic was revealed, it has me excited. It's this Casey Hudson character is in charge of it, and I know it's in good hands. I have a feeling it's actually going to get made, even though he's been on record saying, I hope it's out before 2030. You gotta remember, if a Star Wars game gets announced and it doesn't have a release date or window, just like the movies these days, don't hold your breath. Star Wars Eclipse, I believe, was revealed 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And we have not seen shit since. I don't even know if it's still a thing. The KOTOR remaster, that was announced many years ago. Where is it? So Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, while on paper it seems fucking excellent, epic, I'm not going to get too excited until we start seeing release dates or actual gameplay and not just CGI cinematics. Everything behind it is fantastic. And if it does see the light of day, Fate of the Old Republic may very well become the greatest Star Wars video game of all time and finally dethrone KOTOR. But until this thing comes out, until it gets like firm release dates, it may not see the light of day, even with Casey Hudson at the helm. So I guess I'm comforted by the fact that Lucasfilm is also part of Fate of the Old Republic. So you would think if it's the in-house studio is working on it, that they actually are going to work this game towards an actual release. But I don't know. Super excited. It's definitely worthy of being number 2 on this list because it was just such a surprise. But I would not hold my breath on Fate of the Old Republic. I've got some questions here. I'm going to League asking, action RPG like God of War or Cal Kestis? It's actually, from what I read, they're going to try to keep it in the same vein as the original Knights of the Old Republic. So I doubt they have it where you queue up your attacks and then let them play out. But if you've played the Old Republic games, it should be more like that than anything. I don't know how much like SWTOR it's going to be, but you would think the guy that created the greatest Star Wars game of all time is going to try and repurpose or at least modernize the same type of gameplay. So I think it should, you know, you'll probably have a few force powers, a few melee powers. You're probably going to be able to take your character either dark or light, things like that. I don't think it's going to be full on action button mashing like a God of War. No. I don't think it's going to be a button masher, if you will. All right, but hey, there's another game to talk about, and this one is actually releasing, and it was another just complete surprise. As I said, I consider myself a Star Wars soothsayer. I'm usually in the know, and none of these leaked. Fate of the Old Republic, 0 leak. Star Wars Galactic Racer, 0 leak. So getting both of those trailers out of nowhere is one of the main reasons they're number 2 on this list, but unlike Fate of the Old Republic, Galactic Racer is coming out. It is coming out in 2026. And it looks like a great racing game. I mean, it's not a Mario Kart, you know, it's not that style of a racer, but it looks compelling. I do enjoy racing games. I really do, especially when they're not just traditional, let's get on a track and drive around. Although Gran Turismo on PlayStation 2 is one of my most favorite games of all time. I can't tell you how many hours we dumped into that in college just trying to unlock all the special cars and whatnot. But I'm very excited for Star Wars Galactic Racer. If it's got kind of a Mario Kart feel to it in terms of it's really fun to race against friends and other people, and you know there's crazy hijinks that could take the player that was in first to last right at the last second. I think it could be a very exciting type of multiplayer type of game. So the Star Wars 2025 surprise game reveals coming in at number 2 on the list. Yeah, Bango, I don't think it's going to be original KOTOR where you literally queue up your moves, but it is going to be more, I think, more of a, I don't know, think Skyrim maybe, something like that, where you, or Diablo, where you assign certain powers to certain buttons and you hit them to kick them off. There you go. Bango knows about GT2. Yeah, Gran Turismo 2, I'm sorry, and Gran Turismo has never been as good as number 2. I don't know what it was in that, but you know, you had to earn all your licenses and you had to get up to an S on every track and to get some of the best cars. It was like crack to me. Some of the races, like literally you had to stay up for like 5 or 6 hours to run a race. I remember our neighbor, he came over to like take the night shift on one of the long marathon races. That's how hardcore we were about that game. So yeah, Galactic Racer, look for it in 2026. Fate of the Old Republic, fingers crossed. Hopefully it's out before 2030. All right, here we go, my friends. I think it's about time to reveal the number 1 Star Wars moment of 2025. And it is, without a freaking doubt, like it literally, you cannot poke holes into this. Anyone that tries, I'll fight you. It's Andor. Come on. I mean, Andor Season 2 is the top moment of everyone's Star Wars 2025 best moments list. And if it's not, you're crazy. This program, this conclusion to the Andor series, this gift from Lord Gilroy and the Gilroy family is going to keep on giving for years to come. I mean, Andor Season 2 was about as perfect as any Star Wars project could get, let alone one with 0 fucking Jedi and Force powers and Vaders and Palpatines. You know, it was a bunch of no names for the most part, background characters, the pull themselves up by their bootstrap types. I mean, the formula for telling it, 3 episodes would cover a year, then we move to the next year, and just how excellent that the plot pacing was, how within the 3 episode arcs themselves, the pacing was fantastic from episode 1 to 2 to 3 to close out that arc. It was highly emotional. It was too on the nose for what's happening in the world in 2025 and beyond in terms of, imperial types of governments and fascism and, taking over planets for resources. The acting, the cinematography, the score, there really is nothing wrong, bad, poor about Andor season 2. It is just, as Bango's saying, top-notch writing, acting, story, sets, overall execution, league. I have friends everywhere. It's just, to me, it's one of the most special Star Wars things. I know it's the wrong word. I'm getting all excited. It's one of the greatest Star Wars creations ever put out there. It really is. It really is. I mean, I can't rank it ahead of the original trilogy, but it's up there. I mean, for not having George Lucas attached or George Lucas notes, I think Tony Gilroy just absolutely smashed this fucking challenge and showed people what you can do in the Star Wars universe. It doesn't have to be slapdicky. It doesn't have to be full of cameos and callbacks and legend reveals. It can be about a fucking vagabond who becomes one of the greatest galactic heroes of his time. The reveal that he actually did have a kid and died, and now Bix has to deal with that. The further fleshing out of Mon Mothma and how now she is a much more realized character. And now when you see her in Rogue One or you see her in Return of the Jedi, you're going to be like, that's that motherfucker right there. She was doing that work. Luthen, K2, Clea, fucking Clea, Saul, huffing drugs, seeing Yavin 4. I mean, come on. This series was a gift. And this series, anyone that's out there like Disney sucks, they fucked up Star Wars, you say, hey, fuck you. Go watch Andor season 2. Just go watch Andor, period, and then roll right into Rogue One. I mean, literally, Andor season 1, Andor season 2, Rogue One. That's a trilogy, if you will, an excellent trilogy from start to finish. This series just changed the game. It added so much meat to this era of Star Wars, my era of Star Wars. Fleshing out all this shit with the Empire and how, just incompetent they truly were at the highest of levels. Seeing how the Death Star plans got leaked out initially. I mean, it's everything you wanted in a prequel-like story. This is what I wanted the prequels to be. Shit like this. Painting those pictures, making those broad strokes to fill in the gaps and explain how the characters became the way they were when we saw them. So this thing is just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And Bango, you tell that other little Star Wars show you listen to, they're a bunch of jerk faces for not liking this. They're idiots. They're dopes. They're the Star Wars theories of the world. Their brains don't work correctly. What is wrong with you, man? Shit. This is, and even in real life, right now, depending the type of person you are, you can watch Andor season 2 and just point at it and be like, look, it's art imitating life. Wake up, people. Be the motherfuckers on Gorin. Be the resistance. Okay? Andor season 2, number one moment of 2025 when we're talking about the best of Star Wars. Bango, you want to cross me over with another show? You never know. Sometimes if my bucket's not full enough, I might start bringing out that big swinging dick to start smacking people around so they come to my way of thinking. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bango is right. That's the best part. Like, you gotta remember, Gilroy wrote Andor season 2 well before this regime took office in America. It just goes to show you. I think he kind of saw the writing on the wall, and we all should. It's not like this stuff is new. I mean, you ever hear history repeats itself? Well, it does, because humans are fucking stupid. Most, not me, most are stupid. They're ignorant. They can't look to the past and see the fucking cycles and the trends that just keep repeating. And it's the same motherfuckers at the top every time. All right. What's this? League. Matt, you're going to laugh at my top 25 moment for sure. I was literally walking into the train and just got one word out. All right, we'll see. We will see. We will see. All right, so that wraps my top 10 list. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you agreed with most of it. You don't have to, all right? If you don't, just make sure to send me a super chat so I feel better about myself. But it's time to move on to this week's fan segment. We do it every week to close out the Star Wars Time Show. Just like Ask Us Anything, if you want to get involved, the best way is to follow us on our socials and make sure to turn on notifications for our posts, because I promise you we will be buried in your feed, because the algorithms don't like us. All right? The algorithms like people that hate algorithms that have helped them build their channels up, but the algorithms hate us, even though I'm trying to be nice to them. So yeah, fuck you AI, fuck you machines. So anyways, fan segment, there's always two ways to get involved. We've got the question of the week responses, so we'll post out the question of the week. It's usually themed to our weekly main segment. So this week, obviously, we're asking people, hey, what was your top Star Wars moment of 2025? And then the second way to get involved is our top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. This is all done through Instagram. Make sure to use the hashtag Star Wars Time Show, but more importantly, do ad tag at StarWarsTime.show, because that is where we will pull from to choose the top 5 each week. All right. Let me go ahead and get some squeens shifted. And we'll start with question of the week. There weren't many responses because I'm not going to lie, I kind of forgot to do the post until about an hour and a half before the show. So I get it. My bad. I suck. All right. We'll do one of those. We'll do one of these. Click there. Click there. And now we're ready to rock. All right. So the question of the week this week, like I said, was, what was your favorite Star Wars moment of 2025? What do you think the people had to say? Well, let's find out. We did get 2 responses. One from YouTube, at Math Skeptic. Pretty good handle, right? Math Skeptic. Why are we skeptical about math? I thought math was supposed to prove the existence of everything. But I will say, the Math Skeptic has a fan-freaking-tastic answer for this. And hopefully the rest of you get what they're going for. But their top moment of 2025, the Krennic finger, and I have to applaud it. I mean, that's a fantastic call out right there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the moment where Krennic is interrogating Dedra. Dedra's about to be thrown under the bus for all her bullshit and the Death Star shit leaking out to Luthen. And he puts that finger right on top of her skull. Like, just an emasculating move. Like, hey, you dummy. You dummy. What did you do? You're going to pay for this. And then the next time we see her, she's rotting in that Narkina prison, just like Cassian did. Hopefully making it the few last parts for the Death Star. So fantastic call there, Math Skeptic. Not sure if you watched the show. Oh, Bango's saying that Mendelsohn improvised that. So that goes to show you why Ben Mendelsohn is a fantastic actor. So thank you for that, Bango. We always love random nuggets on the show. And no, I don't vet if they're true or not. So for the most part, you could throw up anything random and say, hey, this is real, and I'd probably run with it. And our last reply, just like League said, she is short, to the point, Andor. That's it. Not Andor Season 2, just Andor. And guess what? She's not wrong. Ding, 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 ding. League wins the fan question of the week response because she got the correct one. All right. She got the correct one. Bango is reminding me that it's true. It's all in caps. So he must have his Truth Social app up and running because that's how you have to post on that platform. All right, so let's go ahead and wind things down here. We are going to go through the top 5. This is going to be the last top 5 of 2025, but please keep using the hashtag. Keep tagging us at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram. All right, because technology sucks, my Stream Deck still does not work the way it should. So I got to make sure I have the proper screens up for people to see. It's such a pain in the ass. I don't even know why I do the vertical version anymore. You used to get a big influx of new users because it would display in the shorts feed, but it doesn't do that anymore because YouTube started a new thing where I can send one stream to it and it will do the horizontal, so the traditional feed, but it'll also do a vertical. But here's the YouTube thing where it just makes no sense. Like it's a great idea, a great feature, but the vertical slice they give you is literally just the center cut of the horizontal feed. So if I didn't make a specific vertical feed, as you can see, if you're on the vertical side, and use what YouTube is giving me now, you would see the standard horizontal, so the widescreen, and then the vertical would be the middle of the widescreen, which would not be my face. It wouldn't be the graphic you're seeing. So yeah, I still put out 2 streams a week. I don't know why I just told everyone that story, because no one gives a fuck. All right, let's get into the top 5 for this week. Starting off with my first pick. It's a doozy. It just came out today. I fucking love the pull focus here on the shot from Galactic Photography 66, all one word, on Instagram. And if you're not anywhere seeing the stream or you can't see a screen, let me set this up for you. But you got Ahsoka the White in the snow having a stare down with a chicken walker in at ST. It's just, like I said, the pull focus on Ahsoka is fantastic. So to set it up, the at ST would be in the foreground of the image. Ahsoka is in the background, but Galactic Photography zoomed in and focused on Ahsoka, so you get that awesome pull focus look. So the foreground is actually washed out as well, which draws the eyes right to Ahsoka, and she looks fantastic in her little white hood in the snow, staring up at the big bad chicken walker. I just think it's fantastic. Look at this. Hopefully we have a Bango and League meetup. They're both East Coasters. One of these times I head out to Philly. Maybe I'll have to stop and wait. Bango, you're like, are you bumfuck PA, right? Are you Hershey-ish, something like that? Amish country? Are you like Wilkes-Barre, closer to the border there? Yeah, there we go. See, look at this. See, Bango's like right on. If Matt comes east, we got to do a meetup. See, I was thinking the same thing. Let's go. I need to visit my buddy who works for Stern. Like I haven't seen that guy since his wedding. I need to get out there. He's in Jersey, but it would still be kind of the same trip. All right, not far from Allentown. Hell yeah, Dorney Park, bro. Dorney Park. I remember Dorney Park going there when I'd visit the relatives in Philly. They're in Hapro Horsham, Philly. Or that's where they live. Now they live downtown. But they'd always take us to Dorney Park, and I remember the Hercules, the big wooden roller coaster from way back when. All right, so yeah, great shot here from Galactic Photography 66. Up next in this week's top 5, the last top 5 of the year, another shot that released just today on the 17th, and this comes from Jesse Fire Rising. This dude's fantastic. I think he works with BBTS, the toy store. He cuts some promos for them. But he's got a fantastic shot of some Micro Galaxy Squadron snow speeders on the snow, zipping around Hoth. He's got, again, the snow speeders are in perfect focus, but underneath them, he kind of got the snow all or looking like it's out of focus, so it feels like there's motion taking place, as if the snow speeders were actually zipping across the snow dunes of Hoth, and Jesse happened to catch them. As you can see, I mean, look how tiny these things are. How this dude took this shot in a negative 10-degree weather, so that's just another reason to appreciate what Jesse's out here doing with these tiny snow speeders. But it just looks absolutely fantastic. I've been so far removed from toy photography, I can't even properly explain the effect Jesse used to make it look like the ships are moving. I know it's some type of zoom, like maybe motion blur. Is that it? Is it motion blur? All right. Motion blur. Okay, I think I nailed it. I did remember after all. And I should. I did a photo shoot, what was it, like a week or two ago? It was fun. It was fun. Still got some Hot Toys dolls that need their shoot so they can be put away. I'll get to them hopefully over my break, because I get a month off starting this Saturday. Yay me. All right, so make sure to check them out. All one word, Jesse Firerizon over on Instagram. Next up on this week's Top 5, we got my man Boba Fett, not the Bozo version. This is the real deal. Good-looking Hot Toy figure and a great-looking shot from Clone Trooper Foe. So clone_trooper_foe over on Instagram. Listen, I guess we could call this a portrait shot. It's acid wash Boba standing outside of, it looks like a shack you would see on a Tatooine somewhere. There's some great natural dust particles being blown up in the shot to kind of give the shot atmosphere. I like the lighting. It looks like they're probably just going with some golden hour sun, so it's natural light. That's kind of how I started the hobby and my favorite way to shoot. So I really appreciate kind of the simplicity of the setup, but also the masterful execution when we look at the final image here. I just think it's a really good shot of the non-Bozo Fett. We're talking about the Boba Fett that gets his armor back from Din and needs to paint it. Okay, so that is clone_trooper_PHO on Instagram. As Nick would say, up next on our list, and hey, we're sticking with Hot Toys. We're sticking with the Mandoverse era characters and locations. We got a great one here from digital_Ronin, and that's spelled R0 spilled. That's spilled. How about spelled? R0N1N. So Digital Ronin on Instagram, and it's a shot of Cobb Vanth, and it's fucking fantastic. Like, I guess I should click through here and see more of the setup, or if they're just close-ups. Yeah, they're just close-ups. I can't tell if the environment Digital Ronin is using is all digital, and they just kind of, transposed Cobb in there. It doesn't matter. It's fantastic. I mean, the lighting is fantastic on Cobb. I mean, look at that. There's like a sun ray coming through over his shoulder, going through his bottle of spatchka and doing a magnifying light of sun. It's fucking great. And I don't care if they used AI or not to kind of create a background or merge the shot of Cobb Vanth in there. It looks fantastic. I mean, it looks like a real scene, a still from... Where do we see Cobb? He would have been, Mandalorian Season 2. Yeah, just great work here from Digital Ronin. All right. Up next in our last top 5 of 2025, naturally goes to really one of my favorite artists that have kind of popped up over the last year or so, and that's JZHZ6669. He's busting out the battle damage Vader again. I have this figure. I don't have the full kit that Jay-Z got. I'm starting to regret it now that I see kind of the work he's putting out here. But this thing is just absolutely badass. Here we can see his 2024 Vader shot. Now we got a 2025. It's just top-notch work. The figure is fantastic, but the shot really lets the figure kind of shine. So let me get back to the main shot so we can all take it in one last time. But great work, as always, from JZ8Z6669 on Instagram. Yes, it is so damn cool. Just like those of you that have stuck with us throughout this year. So, maybe Nick and I will do some sort of things we're thankful for when we return at the start of 2026. But it's been it's been an up and down year for the Star Wars Time Show. We had some massive growth early on, thanks to some of my long form videos for Skeleton Crew and Andor, and then we just kind of leveled out, lost some people. You just lost regulars even. I mean, there's been some diehards that haven't showed up for months, but still here doing it. We closed out the year with you, and when I say we, yes, I'm talking about the mouse in my pocket because young Nick is not here. We speak his name. Hopefully he's having fun getting ready to head out on his Euro trip. But as always, I appreciate you people that hang out with me every Wednesday. Even if it's a pre-record, you're hanging out with me during the instant premiere. I really do consider you all digital friends. Maybe one day we'll meet in real life and we become real friends. But I appreciate the time and the loyalty you all have invested in the SWTS throughout the year. Who knows what 2026 is going to bring? We were talking about the rebrand. We've got 5 ideas. I think it's still up there on things to consider for the show in 2026. It's going to be hard because a lot of effort was put into building up the Star Wars Time Show brand. And I do think if Instagram didn't fuck us 2 years ago, we'd probably still be going strong and never thinking about a rebrand. But when you have your biggest platform just ripped out from under you with no explanation and no recourse, it was a gut punch. It was a dick punch. Let's be real. It was a dick kick. Gut punch to a dick kick. Our Instagram page, it was our lifeblood. I mean, we were up around 20,000 followers there, and losing that, we never recovered. We haven't. But that's why I appreciate you people sticking with us, hanging in the Discord, wishing us happy Festivus, just having fun. That's what we're here for. Even though we don't get a lot of views, I think that's why I keep doing it, especially this show. It's sometimes I can come into Wednesday night in the worst attitude, worst mindset, and 9.5 out of 10 times when I'm done with the show, I feel much better. I feel good. I feel great sometimes. It definitely gets me hyped up and puts me in a good mood. So let's keep it up in 2026, people. Keep kicking the tires on us. Keep trying to sell us. I bet you feel like used car salespeople at this point in time, but we really do have to rely on word of mouth and you all sharing stuff because we get no love from the machines, even though I try to show them love and stick up for them. When people that rely on machines shit talk them nonstop. All right. Love you guys too. Bango. League. You're the best. Kramer, if you're out there, I appreciate you too, buddy. We'll see about that birthday call on Discord, all right? As always, you know what to do. There's always time for Star Wars Time. And if you listen to, watch, consume how you consume the Star Wars Time Show, that is, the Force will be with you. We'll see you in 2026. Away.